This is an ESPN Sonic blockbuster. And is it ever? As Coach K, mere minutes ago, took the court again for the last time. And you can imagine all the emotion that is brewing inside that he is trying to keep from showing outside as he gets ready to coach against their arch rivals, the North Carolina Tar Heels. 42 years he has been the head coach of the Blue Devils. 5 national championships, 12 Final Fours, and maybe this building has never been louder than it was minutes ago here tonight. And we are ready for the tip of our Sonic blockbuster tonight. Dan Schulman, Jay Billis, Holly Rowe, North Carolina providing the opposition. And Jay, you were down on the court for the pregame ceremony, one of the 80-some players. What was that like for you?
It was really cool, and to see Coach K come through that line of players was a great way to start this game. But it's going to start with North Carolina ball, and Dan, for this game for the Tar Heels, it's about bringing physicality and fight, something that Hubert Davis doesn't feel that his team brought in the first game in Chapel Hill, and it's going to have to be brought early.
Duke winning by 20 a month ago at the Dean Dome. And again, Carolina with the first possession of the game. Caleb Love off to Armando Bacot. And what a way to start the game if you're the Heels.
Well, Armando Bacot has to stay in the game. He got in foul trouble really early in Chapel Hill, was out for most of the first half, and Duke just ran away from the Tar Heels as a result.
Well, look at the starting lineups brought to you by Degree, the usual starting 5 for both teams.
The penetration when Mark Williams has to come help. That's when Armando Bacot is going to be open, and a great start for Caleb Love to get a drive and an assist. Caleb Love has to be efficient. This isn't a high turnover North Carolina team, and it's not a Duke defense that has been forcing a lot of turnovers in ACC play. And North Carolina cannot make unforced errors in this game. They missed a ton of open shots early in Chapel Hill, and they made a ton of unforced errors, and they were a culprit in their own beating.
Duke has clinched the ACC regular season championship. Carolina will be either the 3 seed or the 4 seed in the ACC tournament, depending on the result here tonight. Keels into the paint, scoops it up and in.
Keels coming off a 27-point performance at Pittsburgh. And you can see Duke jump switching when it's guard to guard.
Caleb Love misses the 3. Long rebound to R.J. Davis.
Long shot, long rebound.
Out of bounds off Love. Duke ball. Hubert Davis, first-year head coach at Carolina, but of course he has played in this rivalry. He has been an assistant coach in this rivalry, spent 12 years in the NBA. It was just regular old Hubert when we talked to him before the game, wasn't it?
He said their preparation wasn't any different. They didn't talk about the atmosphere. They just talked about what they needed to do in order to win this game. And when Hubert played for Dean Smith, Hubert once told me that Dean Smith didn't even have player personnel scouting reports. You know, they just talked about themselves, and they were pretty darn good. Great post-up by Bacot.
And he will score over Mark Williams. Armando Bacot, one of the leading candidates for ACC Player of the Year, is off to a good start tonight.
Just a little horn set up top, came off one side, and Bacot dove right down. They got great post-up position.
Bacot on Williams, Manic on Banchero. Caleb Love trying to defend Wendell Moore. The kick to Keels. And the rebound to Manic.
Big difference with Manic on Banchero. Remember, they started with Armando Bacot on him last time, and it got him off to a rough start. Great pass.
Good hands by Griffin, and it's out of bounds off Bacot.
Now take a look here at Armando Bacot. He's right here. This is a horn set. 2 up top, 2 in the corners. They're going to come off Bacot, and he's just going to roll. Brady Manic pops high-low, and he got great position on Mark Williams. Actually probably got fouled, didn't get called.
Banchero with an 18-footer over Manic, too strong, and a strong rebound by Leaky Black.
Banchero can't settle for jump shots on Manic's got to drive him.
Manic loves the three. That's the 304th three-pointer of Manic's career. 4 years in Norman and now 1 year in Chapel Hill.
Biggest thing in transition defense for Duke in this game is find shooters. Find R.J. Davis, Caleb Love, and Brady Manic. They have to be identified, and you have to stay with them. Great play by Leaky Black.
Great hustle by Black, but it's out of bounds to Duke. Boy, and Mike Krzyzewski is out on the court and stomping mad 2.5 minutes into this game. His final game at Cameron. And as you can see, he has won better than 88% of them in his career. 572 wins, 75 losses as the head coach of the Blue Devils here at this historic arena.
Well, with near 1,200 wins, he's only thinking about getting one, and that's this one.
Boy, Wendell Moore Jr. almost too open on his drive to the bucket and couldn't finish.
Boy, Armando Bacot just backed off, didn't want to catch that foul, but went after the rebound.
Davis, no. Rebound Williams and a foul on Bacot. Not what Hubert Davis wanted to see.
Bacot looked like he was trying to back off a little bit. Went for it, knew he couldn't get it, but just made a little bit of contact with Williams. And when Williams went down, they're going to call that every time.
And look at how cautious Hubert Davis is being. 3 minutes into the game, Bacot picks up a foul, and he is going to take him out.
Well, it won't be for very long, but it gives him an opportunity to cool down just a second, put him back in. So now Leaky Black on Banchero.
Puff Johnson, the player who's come in for Bacot. Carolina may only go 6 deep tonight. Boy, are they swarming to Manic. And Johnson didn't keep going to the bucket. He wasn't expecting the pass.
Well, he should have been. Once you start your cut, you cannot stop it. And the defense has to honor that cut. So once you start a cut, go through.
Boy, wouldn't Carolina love to play spoiler here in this game tonight. And they are up 5 in the early going. A.J. Griffin had 27 against the Tar Heels a month ago. And a turnover.
Oh, such a good defender. Just great hands.
Love spins. And a foul call.
Got Banchero.
Yep.
Caleb Love so good at using that little spin. You know who used to do a great job of taking it down and just spinning right under the basket for a layup was Kenny Smith. Kenny the Jet Smith used to do that as well as anybody in the game.
Love at the line for the Tar Heels. Had a great game in this building a year ago. 25 points, 7 assists, but 2 big differences. A much different Duke team than a year ago, and there were just cardboard cutouts, present company excluded, last year. It wasn't this kind of an environment a year ago.
But anytime you foul North Carolina, you're giving them 2 points because this is the best free throw shooting team in the ACC, one of the best in the country.
Heels by 7. Jeremy Roach in off the bench. Theo John in off the bench. And a much-needed bucket for the Blue Devils, getting the crazies even louder.
Well, Jeremy Roach has been so good this year, but especially since that Virginia game. He had 15 points against Virginia coming off the bench and did a great job on Kihei Clark, who had 18 points in that first half, and he shut him off.
What a drive by R.J. Davis. Again, a 7-point lead for Carolina.
Drive the pressure. Carolina is doing a better job of spreading Duke out and driving it and not settling for jump shots like they did early in Chapel Hill.
Roach dribbled it off the leg of Davis, got it back. Now an over and back call, and the bench is up, the crowd is up, saying that ball was deflected and it should not have been an over and back. But either way, Jay, a very good start for the Tar Heels.
Just the penetration by Leaky Black. The transition defense doesn't find Brady Manic. He makes him pay. And then the great drive by R.J. Davis. North Carolina off to a great start.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by H&R Block. Get the expert tax help you need. And in part by the Sonic Bacon on Bacon quarter-pound double cheeseburger. For a limited time, only at Sonic. Mike Krzyzewski's office. with pictures commemorating the 5 national championship teams that he has coached. You were an assistant coach on 2 of them, in 91 and 92, and you played in a national championship game yourself in 86. But right now, your former coach is all kinds of fired up early in this game.
Not particularly happy with the execution on the offensive end nor the defensive end. He was actually demonstrating how to make and catch passes as far as getting open during that break. And Duke is switching some of these screens and exchanges right now for North Carolina. So it's been a lot of dribbling by Caleb Love.
Yeah, he was looking for somebody to pass to. Finally found Leaky Black, who's forced into a jumper. And the rebound down to the Blue Devils and a foul on Puff Johnson.
Yeah, that was not because of the switching. And when you get switching like that, oftentimes what you can do is just screen your own defender. And that can help you get open when you're facing a switching defense.
If you're just joining us, Coach K's final game here at Cameron. Some 80 former players in attendance here tonight. Carolina off to a very good start. Armando Bacot, 1 foul about 3 minutes into the game. And Hubert Davis has him on the bench. Does not want to lose him early tonight like he did a month ago in Chapel Hill as Banchero gets to the bucket.
Leaky Black did a really good job of closing out, but that was more of a decisive move by Paolo Banchero. He didn't play with the ball first. He just went. And that's what he's got to do in this game. He needs to be a power player against Leaky Black, not a finesse player.
Black to Johnson. Johnson for 3, way off.
Boy, the lefty was wide open. Theo John had switched out on him.
Boy, and Johnson giving up a lot of size in the matchup with Theo John. Johnson goes flying. Roach goes driving, and he finishes.
Duke doing a better job of spreading the floor and then attacking the matchup, the favorable matchup that they're going to have on the floor right now.
Carolina comes in 22-8, 14-5 in the league as John swats it out of bounds. Boy, and if you're a Carolina player, and some of them have played here before the pandemic, how do you tune out this noise, which even by Cameron standards is extreme right now?
Well, you're not going to be able to tune it out. You're just going to have to play with it and deal with it, but they can.
We'd like to welcome those of you who were watching Kansas and Texas. We are here at Cameron Indoor Stadium in Durham, North Carolina. Dan Schulman, Jay Billis, and Holly Rowe. The final home game for Mike Krzyzewski in his 42nd and final year as head coach of the Duke Blue Devils. A very nice ceremony before the game with, again, about 80 former players. Carolina got off to a great start. We're leading 11-4. Duke is now back within 3 at 11-8. Armando Bacot, 1 foul on the bench for about the last 2.5 minutes. Carolina again would love to play spoiler and pick up a huge win that would certainly salt away an at-large in the NCAA tournament if they could get this one here tonight. And they're probably safe anyways, but this would lock it up for sure.
Well, Duke has thrown a couple of passes away trying to get it into the post.
That was not deflected. Love looking as if that shot was tipped by a Duke player, but he just aired it over the backboard, and it's Duke ball.
And North Carolina started out 4 of 6 in this game to take the early lead, but they're 0 of their last 4. They've had a few turnovers. When Duke's been switching, it's given them a problem. There's been a little bit too much dribbling the last few possessions. But Carolina's defense has been locked in for the most part.
With Puff Johnson now having 2 fouls and Bacot on the bench with 1. Dontrez Styles into the game for Carolina, the 7th man in their thin rotation. Banchero.
Leaky Black did a nice job of pressuring that shot, making it difficult, but Banchero is so quick to that second jump. Just beat Black to the ball.
And they're missing Bacot right now. Davis. Another strong drive. R.J. Davis again.
Well, R.J. Davis is basically a point guard that can really shoot it. You know, he's hit 54 threes on this season, but can really handle the ball and can really drive it.
Banchero driving on Black, scores again. And he's playing just the way you said he should play.
Well, that's where he's going to be effective, is taking on Leaky Black and trying to if he gets a bigger guy on him, maybe Manic, or if Bacot ever has to switch out on him, then you can pick and pop. You can take him out on the perimeter, make the closeout longer. But he's got to drive, Leaky Black.
Davis with a big on him, and Theo John, he goes around him, and that's the third field goal of the night already for R.J. Davis.
Got Theo John on a switch, and what a great hesitation move by R.J. Davis. He's having a terrific year.
Bacot getting ready to check in, but the media timeout will hit first. Roach left hand, soft off the glass.
How much better has Jeremy Roach been over the last 3 or 4 games? And he was good before, but he puts the best pressure on the ball of any Blue Devil on this team.
Roach guarding Love. Love spins. Ball fake. Blocked from behind by A.J. Griffin.
Paolo Banchero being guarded by Leaky Black. He has a size and strength advantage. Takes him inside the shot fake and just quicker to that second shot. And then the left-handed drive. Not playing around with it, just a straight line drive to get to the basket. Banchero starting to get aggressive on offense.
Pre-game here at Cameron, Mike Krzyzewski taking the court for the final time in this arena where the court bears his name. Again, 80-some former players, 9,314 fans. He's been a sellout now 489 consecutive games for the winningest coach in basketball history, almost 1,200 wins. His wife, Nikki, of course, here in attendance, all kinds of kids and grandkids as well. He's thanking the fans. And again, Jay played here 1982 to 1986. Was part of a class that really led Duke to prominence, getting to the national championship game in 1986, your senior year. What was it like being down there with your old teammates and so many other former Duke players?
Well, it was great. It was a great feeling. It was great seeing everybody. A few of us need to get on the Peloton though.
Roach can't finish, but he does draw the foul. Take us back in time. Tell us about the first time as Adam Silver looks on. I think that was Jerry Seinfeld beside him. Adam Silver and Jerry Seinfeld. How about that? A power duo. Take us back in time, you know, the first time you heard or your parents heard from Coach K, and how and why did you end up at Duke with all the other schools that were recruiting you?
The first time I heard from him, I was 17 years old. I had just played in a national tournament called the BCI, and Duke had seen me play and apparently thought I wasn't as bad as other people thought, and they started recruiting me. So when Coach K first called me, the truth was I'd never heard of him. You know, I'm from Los Angeles, but the more I got to know him, the more I liked him, and the more I thought he was the right coach for me. But at the time of the people that were recruiting me, he was the least well-known and the least successful, and that's kind of flipped.
Yeah, he's done all right. You were all, I mean, you were recruited by so many schools, and you're being very humble here. You were the player of the year, as good a player as there was in the state of California back then. And your class included Mark Allery, Johnny Dawkins, and
David Henderson,
Weldon Williams,
and Bill Jackman. We were the #1 rated recruiting class in the country.
And your freshman year was a sub-500 year, but you guys got better and better and better. And we asked Coach K at practice yesterday, when did this happen? When did Cameron turn into Cameron? And he thought it was kind of about your senior year. Does that jive with what you think?
Yes.
Yeah.
What a great play and a great transition outlet by Theo John. North Carolina needs to continue to look for Armando Bacot now that he's back in the game, and he was out for an extended period with just 1 foul. But I think middle of the floor ball screens will really do a lot to free him up and get him into the middle of the lane.
Good ball pressure by the Blue Devils out on the perimeter. Davis into Manick. Got a mismatch with Roach on him. Won't go down. Bacot keeps it alive. Banchero tips it to Moore. Moore the kick. Keels the three. And the rebound down to Love, and he gets wrestled to the court by Theo John.
Yeah, John couldn't grab the rebound. Love was trying to get it after trying to corral it out of the air. It hit the floor, and John just grabbed him and pulled him down. I'm not sure whether that's a play they're going to look to review.
Looks like it. Players are going to their respective benches, so it looks like they'll have a look at this to see if this should be escalated up to a flagrant one. And you can see John is apologizing to Love the whole time, and there was some sportsmanship thereafter. I don't know if he was using Love to break his fall, but he pulled him down.
Yeah, I'm not sure they can rule that a basketball play, but it certainly wasn't a crazy flagrant foul, but he did grab him and pull him down, and I think by definition that could be a flagrant one.
Roger Ayers, Jamie Lucky, and Ray Stiens, the officials here tonight. That's Ayers on the left, Lucky on the right. Looking at the monitor right now.
Because you can't tell when the whistle blew, if that's deemed after the whistle, it's the same outcome. They call it a non-contact technical. Just trying to corral it here, and then he wraps his arms around him and pulls him down. Now, was that violent contact? No. But it looks like it's going to be a flagrant one. You can see Jamie Lucky holding his finger out. Melissa just pointing at somebody.
And it is a flagrant one, so it's 2 in the ball. As you said, it's hard to define that as a basketball play or a play on the ball, so you can understand why it was elevated to a flagrant one.
I mean, the officials had to call it. Yeah. That's within the rule. And they're fouling. You know, that's a foul where Caleb Love goes to the free throw line. Love hits 86-87% from the line. Yard labor misses.
You saw Carlos Boozer, Mike Dunleavy, 2 of the other former Blue Devils in attendance tonight. Carlos is all dressed up. He's working on the ACC network pre and post. Sheldon Williams is here. Our own Jay Will is here. Which of your former teammates are here? I didn't see everybody down there.
David Henderson, Weldon Williams, Danny Ferry. There's see Steve Wojciechowski, Gerald Henderson. If you've ever seen Gerald Henderson hit a golf ball, there's no pro that hits it further than he does. It's ridiculous. Should be illegal.
Carolina by 1 past the midway point of the first half, looking for what would be by far their most significant win of the season. If they can pull it off, and again, you would think they are safe, but this would certainly lock it up. What a start for R.J. Davis.
That's what I'm talking about, Dan. Those middle third ball screens set by Armando Bacot, because you're so worried about the roll. If Mark Williams doesn't help on the ball, then Bacot rolls to the back. Or if he helps on the ball, Bacot rolls to the basket. If he doesn't, R.J. Davis goes.
Good luck. Good luck keeping Trevor Keels out of the paint when he wants to get there. He's got 4.
And this game has been played almost exclusively in the paint. I mean, how many buckets can you think of that haven't been scored in the paint?
18 of Duke's 20 are in the paint right now. Keels in transition. Moore for 3. And Duke has the lead.
Duke taking advantage of a rebound to start their offense. You have to complete your defensive possession by grabbing a rebound, especially if it's a long one, but that could start your offense.
Nice drive there by Puff Johnson, the younger brother of former Tar Heel Cam Johnson, a guy who missed the last half of last year and the first half of this year with various injuries, but he is now firmly in the rotation.
Well, he's been a big lift for North Carolina late in the season. He plays so hard. Dives on the floor, just makes team plays.
Carolina fortunate there that Keels couldn't finish that one. Manick, quick release on the 3. His second three-pointer of the game.
Boy, he sees Duke blue and gets fired up. Brady Manick had 21 points against Duke in the first one. He was really the only player to respond against Duke in that first game.
Foul going against Puff Johnson. That'll be his 3rd, so that is an early problem here for Hubert Davis. But other than that, things are going really well. Brady Manick, a 39% three-point shooter on the season. They try to get out on him quickly, but not quite quickly enough. No surprise that this game has brought out a lot of celebrities. Ken Jeong, a Duke grad and a huge Duke fan, is in attendance. Dirk Nowitzki is here. He was in the building about an hour and a half before the game started. And I think Adam Silver said something funny that cracked Jerry Seinfeld up instead of the other way around. Holly, what do you got?
Well, guys, this building is packed to the nooks and crannies. It's one of the toughest tickets we've ever seen in sports. I've been able to confirm a couple of ticket prices over $1 million with the B Foundation that was auctioned off for 4 tickets. But online, we've seen them go for upwards of $99,000. I did text to one season ticket fan that said they were offered $150,000 for their tickets down on the front row by the Duke basket. Guys, we are having a lot of fun down here, but one guy told me it's none of my business how much he paid for his ticket on the front row. The students, though, may have paid the highest price. The Cameron Crazies have been sleeping out since January 23rd. That is 6 weeks, 70 teams of 12 people. At all times, someone had to be in the tent. Way to go, Cameron Crazies. They may have paid the highest price.
Wow, thank you, Holly. You knew the prices would be insane. We were all checking secondary markets just for fun every now and again. Recently, as Coach K coaches his final game here at Cameron, I tried to raffle off your ticket, but apparently that's against company policy, so I wasn't allowed to do it. But they wouldn't even have the payment.
Going back to that horn set for North Carolina. Good backdoor cut.
And Leaky Black back to Armando Bacot, who draws the foul.
Now, on the other end, Duke was trying to isolate Brady Manick. Banchero was being guarded by Manick, so they gave him an open side. And there was a little up and under move. He gave a shot fake, but Banchero didn't really chase after the rebound. He had an opportunity to go get that. And earlier on, he really went after that.
In the first game, which was in Chapel Hill, obviously a 20-point win for Duke. They led by as many as 28 at one point. And as Jay mentioned earlier, Hubert Davis told us what Carolina needs to do is bring the fight. They were out-rebounded by 16. Carolina was in their own home building, and that doesn't happen to Carolina.
It doesn't.
It's been a different story so far today.
Yeah, but usually you get out-rebounded when you miss that many shots. I mean, Duke shot almost 60%, and Carolina shot in the first half. They shot in the 30s. So you're missing that many shots. The defense is going to have a big advantage going after the ball.
Banchero for 3.
2 on the ball. Manick went to the ball, and that left Banchero wide open and a long way to close out.
Grant Hill liking what he's seeing. Another one of the Duke greats in attendance tonight. Blue Devils back within 2. Manick. Tip to Griffin.
But Carolina cannot forget about Armando Bacot. He needs to touch the ball more.
And A.J. Griffin's got to get some touches for Duke. He hasn't attempted a shot yet. They got Bacot for his second.
There's a lob to Williams, and Bacot just backing into him. Just a cheap one that he should have let go. I mean, you can get a bucket back. You cannot get a foul back. But he's helping too much on the ball. He came back, caught him with his arm. I don't even know if he knew Williams was going to be right behind him on that lob look.
And Hubert Davis has made his decision, at least for now. Bacot is out, and Justin McCoy, a Raleigh native, the transfer from Virginia, who has been dealing with a sore knee, has not played in 5 games. As Williams lays it in to tie it, McCoy is into the game for Carolina. This is not a lineup, I think, that Hubert Davis anticipated needing, certainly at this point of the game.
No, the scorers are Manick, Davis, and Love. Now, Leaky Black has really improved his offense from last year to this, but I still wouldn't call him a scoring threat. Got to switch now. Banchero, you got to take him on.
Love trying. Couldn't get by him. Black the kick. Love the 3. Rebound to Leaky Black, and that shot altered by Mark Williams.
What a presence around the basket. Mark Williams is the best shot blocker in the ACC.
And a finalist for National Defensive Player of the Year. First points of the night for A.J. Griffin, and Duke has the lead. Davis driving, and it's off Griffin, out of bounds. Still Carolina ball.
Well, he was able to refuse that ball screen. up top and take it to the left. But a good recovery to knock that ball away.
And is Hubert Davis planning on sitting Armando Bacot for the last 5:17 of the half? The score may determine that as Love misses a corner three.
Without Bacot in there, much more difficult for Carolina to grab an offensive rebound.
Carolina's +6 when Bacot's on the floor, -8 when he's not. Banchero sizing up McCoy. Spins and lays it in. That's big time.
Duke is using Paolo Banchero as an isolation scorer when he's got a matchup he likes, getting him to the elbow on the side and letting him go one-on-one. If he brings a second defender, he can pass it.
McCoy needs some help. Almost turned it over. Shot clock at 7. Love with a step back three. Short. Duke ball.
Well, just too tough of a shot for Caleb Love.
Griffin for three. Timeout, Carolina. A 12-0 run for the Blue Devils, with Paolo Banchero leading the way. Jay for Duke.
With Bacot out of the game with 2 fouls, not a scoring lineup for North Carolina. And Paolo Banchero, Moore had 2 on him. All of a sudden, Mannix got to close out a long stretch, a wide open 3. Then the matchup with Justin McCoy. Elbow isolation, spins off, and an easy bucket. Then in transition, finding A.J. Griffin, who's been a hotter 3-point shooter than A.J. Griffin. Nobody.
An emotional night to be sure for Mike Krzyzewski. He will speak in the post-game ceremony. The students piling in an hour and a half before. Incredible noise, incredible anticipation leading up to this game. A brief pregame ceremony. Duke started very slowly. Carolina looked very crisp in the early going, but it's all Blue Devils over the last 3-4 minutes.
And one of the issues for North Carolina has been Armando Bacot being in and out of the lineup. And Puff Johnson has those 3 fouls. Justin McCoy in. This is not a great scoring lineup. And Caleb Love has to stop playing with the ball and make decisive moves. Those juke moves he's making aren't going to work.
Bacot only 8 minutes of the 16 that have been played in this game because of the 2 fouls. What a rebound by Williams. Duke on a 12-0 run. And it is off Manick and still belongs to the Blue Devils. Coming up at the half, it's the Jeep halftime report as the guys take a look at Coach K's Cameron farewell. And Kansas, with an overtime win over Texas, they win the Big 12. And Jay will join the guys as well. Our guy Jay Will, former Blue Devil, of course. Jay Will, he'll join the guys to let them know what it's been like to be here, sitting in the seats, watching this during the first half as Banchero adds to the lead.
Banchero had another favorable matchup, and Armando Bacot had to back off of the block shot for fear of picking up another foul.
Davis too strong.
Boy, those 2 fouls are taking away Armando Bacot's aggressiveness on the glass. But if he can set this middle ball screen and then roll, he can find something.
And aggressiveness is such a part of his arsenal. He's got a great motor, but as you say, he's got to be careful.
Boy, Mark Williams has been a vacuum on the defensive board in this first half.
Banchero with a mismatch. Although Leaky Black, he can guard bigger guys. He's working as hard as he can, but Banchero is fouled before the shot, though. No basket. Foul on Leaky Black before the shot.
That's a big difference in some of the moves Banchero was making earlier in the year. This was a decisive rip through. He probably could have gotten it in one dribble to get there. But here's the previous play. He's got a great matchup to drive R.J. Davis, but Bacot usually would have gone after that block shot, but he had to back off. He didn't want to pick up number 3 here. And this is a huge 3 minutes before halftime. If Duke can stretch this thing out, or if Carolina can make a little run and make this closer. But we could look back on this as being one of the pivotal points in the game, the last 3 minutes of the first half.
Again, Duke has already clinched the regular season championship. It is their first outright ACC regular season championship since 2006. They shared it in 2010. Carolina will be either the 3 seed or the 4 seed next week in Brooklyn, depending on the outcome of this game.
Nice.
USC UCLA coming up at 10 o'clock tonight here on ESPN. And there's Bacot doing what he does best, getting on the offensive glass and converting.
Really like what North Carolina is doing right now, giving R.J. Davis primary ball handling responsibility. That way Caleb Love can work off the ball. So he's not playing with the ball as much, not as many dribbles, and North Carolina is moving the ball much better.
How about Davis with a block? He's having a terrific first half. Love looking for his first field goal of the night. Finds a wide open Manick, who left it short, and now Keels really created the contact and gets the call on Leaky Black.
Armando Bacot, watch him. This middle third ball screen is difficult because drop coverage for Williams. He pays some attention to the ball. Keels has to help out, and now all of a sudden it's a wide open shot, and then Bacot can wedge down and get that offensive rebounding position. That's just much better offense for North Carolina, and especially when they're operating in that middle third of the floor.
Bacot along with the Banchero and Alondas Williams of Wake Forest. You would think the ACC Player of the Year is coming out of one of those three, wouldn't you?
I think Bacot is the ACC Player of the Year.
Ooh, a block the call on Mark Williams. Boy, and Hubert Davis had to have a lump in his throat for a moment after that one.
Well, Bacot looked like he lowered that shoulder, but Williams went down awfully easily. I mean, there's a lot to process there. Like, I don't think that amount of contact would, I don't know, the referees always call that an offensive foul, but that sort of play, I think Bacot has to feel fortunate he didn't pick up another foul.
Love for three. His first field goal of the night. He's got 7 points overall. Carolina back within 4 as Mike Krzyzewski calls a timeout and staring at the officials.
North Carolina out of bounds underneath. You watch Caleb Love up top, just gets wide open on the catch and decisive once he catches it. Just a defensive breakdown. Wendell Moore Jr. thought he was going another way, but just lost him. And all of a sudden, North Carolina only down 4 in this first half. It looked like it might get away from the Tar Heels, but they fought back. And fortunate on, I would say, on that charge block call down in the post. Bacot avoiding picking up his third foul, and Armando Bacot coming out right now with about 1:50 to go in this first half.
Justin McCoy back into the game for the Tar Heels in his place. And let's see if Banchero goes right out.
Go with that 5-4 ball screen, got a switch.
Spinning on Manick and finishes strong. Boy, he has shown the whole arsenal tonight, hasn't he?
Well, if he goes right, Manick tries to cut it off. This is a beautiful spin move, and nobody was there to sit on it because you're so worried about Mark Williams in that 4-5 ball screen.
Pull up by Manick, short. And Carolina stay within striking distance with Bacot on the bench the last minute 10 of the half. Duke by 6 right now.
Boy, Williams wide open.
Not a thing Manick could do about that.
It's that high-low action. Banchero missed him at first, but he was so wide open you could miss him and then see him again. Duke trying to ratchet up the pressure.
Black with a drive and a kick. A great look for Manick, and he buries it.
That's the penetration. When North Carolina is getting the ball and getting a piece of the paint rather than settling for jump shots, they're forcing help. When you force help, you can kick it to a guy like Manick. He can knock it down. Here's the drive. The closeout not particularly good. Banchero tries to pick up the charge. playing off 2 feet, and then here's Banchero. You try to move your feet to stay in front going right, spins back left, and he's so athletic. And then this high-low, there's no way Brady Manick getting caught behind. That's a double bury. I mean, you've got 2 feet in the paint. It's over.
And they've missed Bacot. The Heels have at both ends of the floor when he's been on the bench with fouls. 8 seconds between game clock and shot clock.
Have to think they're going to go to Banchero here against McCoy. Here's that 5-4 ball screen again. Got the switch again.
Banchero from the elbow this time. Rebound to Davis, and Carolina's got time to get a final look.
That was a good shot, but would have liked to have seen him get to the basket rather than settle for the pull-up.
Davis launches a 3 and hits it. What a big shot for Carolina at the end of the half.
With Bacot on the bench, Carolina fights to get to 41-39 at halftime. Looked like they might stretch it out. How important was that last 3 minutes of the first half? R.J. Davis, a little pick and pop action. They don't switch. And just a beautiful step back move. R.J. Davis had a great first half.
And Duke Associate Head Coach John Shire is with Holly Rowe.
Well, Coach, what a unique night. So many players lined up as Coach K walks out. You've known him a long time. What is the emotion you've seen from your head coach?
Yeah, to be honest with you, once the game started, he's been locked in. Of course, that's pretty amazing when you see all the foreign players walk out and just what these last 2 days have been. But to be honest with you, the entire day today has been about our preparation and winning this game.
The preparation has been good, particularly with Paolo Banchero. What have you seen from your young freshman so far?
Well, he did a great job of attacking the basket. You know, he settled a little bit early, but when he plays like that, he's unguardable. He does a lot for our team when he's playing that way, of getting the other guys open shots. And of course, when he scores, it's not too bad either.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Holly.
A great first half for Paolo Banchero, but Carolina is right there with Duke despite foul trouble from Bacot, down by only 2 after the break. It'll be Reese and the guys with the G halftime report. Welcome back to Saturday Primetime, presented by H&R Block. Paolo Banchero, a sensational first half. 15 points for the freshman. He was spinning every which way and finishing strong, really attacking the bucket of the first half. Armando Bacot limited to 10 minutes of playing time after picking up a couple of fouls in the first half. Was very efficient, effective when he was in there. 4 for 4, 10 points in the 10 minutes, but Carolina obviously needs more minutes from him in the second half. This is an ESPN Sonic blockbuster. It's a 2-point game. Duke 41, Carolina 39. In Coach K's final game here at Cameron Indoor Stadium. A lot of emotion pre-game, a lot of emotion during the game as well. Mike Krzyzewski, and you can see him fighting it a little bit, trying to keep it inside right there before the game. But you can only imagine, after being a coach here for 42 years, what was on his mind. But then the game starts, and it's time to get into game mode. And Carolina played a good first half. Banchero really the biggest reason why Duke's in front right now.
Yeah, Carolina doesn't have a natural matchup for Paolo Banchero, so whomever's guarding him, Duke's going to try to isolate him. The question is Carolina going to help bring 2 to Banchero to double him? If they do, Banchero is going to pass out of it, and they'll drive a closeout, they'll pass out of that, and they'll play basketball. But for Carolina, very fortunate that Armando Bacot didn't pick up that 3rd foul. You could argue that he should have, but he didn't, and now they need to go to him.
Let's check in with Holly Rowe.
Guys, checking in with Hubert Davis, North Carolina at the half. He said they're getting killed in the paint. They've got to do a better job getting into those gaps, hugging up on their guys and not leaving people open for 3. He said he loves the fight that he's seen in his team, and he said, you know what, if we keep playing like this, limit the points of the paint and rebound, I like our chances. And as they took the floor, I overheard Armando Bacot say, guys, we've got him right where we want him.
Holly, thank you. Ready for the second half of our Sonic blockbuster matchup. Dan Schulman, Jay Billis, Holly Rowe, Duke, and Carolina. Over to Cameron. The Blue Devils lead by 2.
Brady Manick guarding Banchero. Helps on the ball, and now a drive, but he loses it.
Recovers with plenty of time on the shot clock as Trevor Keels calls out a play. He'll use the Williams screen, missed the three, and Bacot down with his 4th rebound of the night. Bacot averaging in conference play 14.5 rebounds per game, more than 6 ahead of Paolo Banchero, who's second in the conference.
Playing that middle ball screen, now a handoff. That was good offense, just didn't make the floater.
And Love struggling to make shots. He's 1 for 10. Manick gambles. Moore steps in. A kick to a wide open A.J. Griffin. And that's a break for Carolina. That didn't go down. He's basically a 50% three-point shooter.
Yeah, he doesn't miss many of those.
Black has it knocked away by Moore. Bacot spinning through traffic and ties the game.
How did he make that shot? It wasn't the most graceful of moves, but effective. And that's why I think Carolina needs to keep going to Armando Bacot. He needs to touch the ball.
Moore misses the slam.
Well, Bacot got out of the way there. If he was in the restricted area, if he tried to take a charge, it would have definitely been a foul.
Heels doesn't get the bounce. Tipped up and in by Williams.
Bacot had the rebound in his fingers, and Williams reached with his left hand and tipped it in. Talk about wingspan.
7'1" guy with a 7'7" wingspan. Duke by 2.
If it was 7'6", he couldn't have gotten that play. What a pass.
How good of a night is R.J. Davis having as Bacot now has 14.
Well, I think Carolina is so much better when R.J. Davis is running the point and primary ball handling duties. Now here's one-on-one against Manick. I don't think Banchero wants to pull up there. If you're going to take on Manick, drive him and force help, then play out of him.
Davis a little bit too strong. Banchero the rebound. And it's 6'10", 250 going coast to coast.
Banchero can rip and run. He gets the rebound, doesn't need to outlet it. Manick had his back turned to him trying to get back. But there was no way for him to defend that.
Davis again acting as the primary ball handler. Keeps it alive. Finds Bacot. And the foul line jumper won't go.
Didn't go down. That was still a pretty good shot. And Davis did a great job of keeping his dribble.
Manick's got his hands full tonight with Banchero, doesn't he? Made him give it up. Now Williams. Yes.
Well, a smart play by Banchero. He didn't have it, kicked it out, then they kicked it into the post to Mark Williams.
Love drives, kicks. Manick drives, got bumped, and a foul.
Tough closeout by Banchero trying to get out on Manick, and Manick just gave him a little shot fake. But Banchero grabs the rebound, and he can get ahead of steam. Who's going to get in front of 6'10", 255 and skilled? Didn't have it here. Kicks it back out to Wendell Moore Jr., and he immediately gets an angle to get it into the post to Mark Williams. Just really good offense. And Banchero, instead of taking a questionable shot, kicks it out, and then they can attack again.
Manick, a 67% free throw shooter on the season. 9 points tonight, coming on 3 3-pointers. 3-point game.
You have to think that Duke is going to continue to attack Brady Manick or try to look into the post and go against Armando Bacot. And then if they kick it out, you got an open three, good for you.
Open three, Keels, yes.
The open three came from attacking the paint. You get a piece of the paint. Carolina's been unable to guard the ball. They bring help, and Duke is taking advantage of it.
Davis to initiate the offense. 5 to shoot.
Got a switch.
Spins on Banchero. And a foul.
Duke has been getting a piece of the paint off the dribble all night long, whether in transition or in the half court. Wendell Moore Jr. turns the corner, draws help, and then kicks it out to Trevor Keels, one of the top three-point shooters in the ACC. Jay Will, that was him.
The biggest opportunity I've had in my life, and the people who have believed in me the most, are my ladies. My wife and my 3 daughters have made me so much better. They have always believed in me.
Well, Coach Krzyzewski carries his mother Emily's rosary in his left pocket for every game. But if you want to know what kind of woman his wife Mickey is, when he was stationed in the demilitarized zone in South Korea during the Vietnam War, his wife flew with their young daughter. They were not allowed by the Army to stay on base with him, so she slept in a supply closet with her baby sleeping in a suitcase for 3 months. She was that desperate to see and support her husband. Mickey Krzyzewski has been there every step of the way, helping to build this program. And his 3 daughters, I know that they are also proud of their dad, but that's one of the best stories I've ever heard by any woman anywhere, going to the demilitarized zone and sleeping in a supply closet to support her husband.
Ollie, thank you. I think for a lot of people, they know Mike Krzyzewski only as the coach at Duke. But of course, Jay, he played at Army, he served at Army, was a captain, as Mark Williams slams it home, was an assistant for a year on Bob Knight's staff at Indiana, then became the head coach at Army. He had coached there for 5 years before taking over here in Duke in 1980.
Well, Paolo Banchero continues to be the biggest factor in this game. The second biggest has been Mark Williams. His rebounding, shot blocking, shot changing. And actually, Duke is usually it's North Carolina's big guys you have to worry about. In this game, North Carolina's big guy is Armando Bacot. And Brady Manick is a stretch, even though he's tall, he's a stretch 4. He plays mostly on the perimeter.
Love guarding A.J. Griffin. 10 to shoot. Banchero misses the 3, Manick the rebound. Davis, bounce pass, and the finish by Bacot. What a play by R.J. Davis.
Just a great ball screen by Armando Bacot. That makes Mark Williams have to help, and then he's wide open on the roll. R.J. Davis with a terrific little pocket pass, almost a jump pass that he dropped to him.
Bacot's got 16 points in 15 minutes of action tonight, as a block is called on Caleb Love, and he doesn't like that call at all.
Bacot with a little random ball screen just on the edge of the middle third. When Williams helps up, he drops it off. Nobody there to help. And then after, just a great catch by Banchero, and Bacot's got to come over. Nobody can pick up Williams as he dives to the basket. Williams has been a presence on both ends.
Williams sits now as Theo John is back in. Jeremy Roach has also come off the bench for A.J. Griffin.
Theo John can be more physical with Armando Bacot, a different kind of big guy than Mark Williams.
Roach using the screen. And it'll go. Soft touch on the runner.
Well, Bacot, he was in the restricted area. He couldn't take a charge, but he didn't even try to block the shot. He's got to go up there and get that.
Well, great minutes from Jeremy Roach tonight, coming off the bench for Duke.
Not a switch. That was really smart by R.J. Davis to take on Theo John and just drive into his shoulder to pick up that foul. Duke is taking on any sort of mismatch they have on the other end. And Carolina has to do the same thing. Now, Bacot, watch, he's there to take a charge, but he didn't really try to block the shot. I don't know whether he's still worried about picking up another foul, but he's got to go up and try to wipe that thing away or change it.
He's got 2, missed several minutes in the first half after he picked up his first, and then again after he picked up his second. Davis short. Bacot, did that hit a Duke player on the way out of bounds? It did not. It belongs to the Blue Devils.
Well, R.J. Davis is saying somebody hit me while I was trying to shoot it. Said he got hit on the wrist.
Davis, the sophomore from White Plains, New York. Moore. Boy, dips that shoulder just a little to create some space, but he couldn't hit the shot.
Just couldn't turn the corner on Caleb Love. There's that middle ball screen and roll.
And Bacot converts. They got that one down to a science right now.
Well, that's what I think we talked about on game day. I felt like that's where Carolina needed to attack, in the middle third of the floor. and make Mark Williams guard that, make Theo John guard that, and eliminate help with that middle third of the floor.
Carolina back within 5. Banchero blocked by Bacot.
That's more like it for Armando Bacot. Wipe that away.
Manic blocked by John. Banchero finishes. Boy, what a sequence that was.
And what a block by Theo John. Brady Manic wanted a foul, but that was a big-time block up top, contact or not.
And if possible, it just got a little bit noisier here with Cameron, but Love will quiet the crowd for a moment as Bacot and John go tumbling to the court.
Body's getting tangled up. The official's going to talk about it. They haven't called anything. But just that middle ball screen again. Theo John giving a little shot to Armando Bacot and falls down over him. So I'm not sure. The officials are going to take a look at it. But if they call a... I mean, they're not going to call that foul. If there was any foul to be called on Theo John there, they missed it. So they're not going to go back and call that. That wouldn't be a...
So nothing doing, and back two with the Carolina coaches probably didn't like that John initiated that contact with Bacot. Again, when Bacot's been in there, Carolina, they've been just fine. They are +6 with him on the court, but -11 when he has been on the bench with a couple of fouls.
Well, he's been the most productive big guy, not only in the ACC, but one of the most productive in the country. I mean, he's averaging 16.5 points a game, just under 13 rebounds, right at 4 offensive rebounds, and just under 2 blocks a game. And in ACC play, it's even better. In the last 4 games, he's averaging 16.5 rebounds. Yeah. And that's ridiculous. Those are Tim Duncan numbers that he's put up all season long.
Now, you read my mind. The last ACC player to have this scoring average, this rebounding average, and this field goal percentage in ACC play was Tim Duncan, and that was 25 years ago.
There's that middle ball screen again. And then a rescreen.
And a great defensive play by Griffin, but Love gets it back, and now a foul on Theo John.
Yeah, that time John looked like he got the ball initially, but brought that arm down and caught arms.
And John does not appear to favor the call here,
Duke almost able to come away with it. That ball was, he caught all ball. I'm not sure whether he caught that left arm as he came. He might have caught the left hand. But when he hit the ball, you could see it was all ball.
Number 3 on John. And 1 of 2 for Bacot to make it a 4-point game. Well, Hubert Davis is fired up in front of the Carolina bench right now.
The team's got to sit down and guard. Brady Manic staying on Banchero. Leaky Black on A.J. Griffin.
Love the steal. And it'll go to make it a 2-point game.
Well, North Carolina getting an easy basket off its defense. And this is what Hubert Davis wanted. He wanted some fight out of this team, and especially on the defensive end. They gave up a lot of paint points in that first half, and doing a much better job of staying in front of the ball in the second half. Caleb Love just taken away, blew up that dribble handoff, took away the pass, a weak pass, and it turned into an easy basket for Carolina. Everybody loves it.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by the Sonic Bacon on Bacon Quarter Pound Double Cheeseburger. For a limited time only at Sonic. Divine Sports Bar near the campus at Duke University. A little tension in the bars, some stress on the faces of these Duke fans for Coach K's final home game here at Cameron. Adam Silver in the house. Maybe he'll be checking out some Saturday primetime NBA action later tonight on ABC and the ESPN app. The Warriors taking on the Lakers. Our coverage begins with NBA Countdown about 10 minutes from now at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific.
Adam Silver, Duke graduate, you know.
That's true. Jerry Seinfeld, not a Duke graduate.
Not a Duke graduate.
But a Duke hoodie wearer here at this game.
For $50 you can get one. A diagonal screen to get Paolo Banchero into the low post against Manic. But you recognize that call?
Yeah, it looks familiar.
It was the exact same spot.
Yeah.
And usually they call both those charges in other games.
By the way, told Jerry Seinfeld's daughter goes to Duke. So he comes by that Duke hoodie, honestly.
Well, they paid more than $50 for it.
Big block by Theo John as they go up and down. Ken Jeong loving the action here at Cameron. Welcome back. Let's take a look at tonight's Sonic Blockbuster. And two of the best players in the ACC are Armando Bacot and Paolo Banchero, each with 19 points tonight. Both having terrific nights.
Well, Banchero has been going at every mismatch because there really is no matchup that North Carolina can naturally put on him. But see, Kyler Murray in the house. Terrell Owens getting his popcorn ready for this one.
And Dirk Nowitzki before that. Speaking of a guy there was no matchup for. And all kinds of former Duke players as well. About 80 of them.
Oh, Carolina was so physical on that inbound.
A.J. Griffin with a rejection on Love. Mark Williams at the other end.
Well, we've seen that both those plays were incredibly physical. The physical defense played by North Carolina on the out of bounds, and then physical defense on the other end by Duke that turned into a layup by Williams.
Love with a floater. And this time there is a foul. It'll go on Jeremy Roach.
After that turnover on the out of bounds under, just a really good block with the left hand. Absorbed the contact, and the referee saying it was offense initiated contact. And the run out, Mark Williams went down after that physical defense by North Carolina on the out of bounds under. And that left him as the lone Blue Devil ahead of the pack to get that easy one.
By the way, Jay, that assist by Wendell Moore on the Williams dunk, Moore's 7th assist of the night.
He's been Duke's leading assist man all year long, just under 5 assists. And his defense all year long, Wendell Moore Jr. has been outstanding. I mean, his assignment is shooting 34% from the field and 29% from 3. His primary assignment on the season.
Had a triple-double earlier this season against Army. He might wind up first team All-ACC. If not, you'd think definitely second team. Banchero with the offensive rebound.
That inside position, they were looking to go high-low, and got to take on Bacot here. He's saying, get out of the way. Good help by R.J. Davis.
That leaves Keels open, though, and he drills it.
And that's what Hubert Davis told Holly Rowe. You know, he doesn't want them to be hugged up on their man. But when you help, if you overhelp, this Duke team can pass out of it. Then you got a longer closeout up to a good shooter.
Love is heating up. This is similar to the Monday game against Syracuse when he couldn't buy one through the first portion of the game and then got very hot very late as the Tar Heels won in overtime.
Well, he got that screen in the middle of the floor. Just eliminates the help. Well, Carolina's been incredibly effective in that middle third of the floor.
Bacot takes it away, knocks it away from Moore. Here's Davis just barreling his way through traffic, and Carolina has tied it.
Now, what a great play by R.J. Davis. He is having a fantastic game.
Davis now with 14, out of bounds off Banchero.
Well, that's why you want to force Paolo Banchero to his left. Driving to his right, he is much better. He can still go to his left, but Bacot knocked it away. And it went off of Moore's leg to R.J. Davis, and he just took it the other way. Avoided the block shot by Wendell Moore Jr. and Carolina now with a chance to take the lead. That seemed impossible if you watched that first game.
And even late in the first half in this one, at times when Bacot was on the bench, Duke got it out to an 11-point lead at one point. Bacot, and Carolina does have the lead for the first time here in the second half.
Looked like they were going to run that little slice cut screen for the screener. Instead, they just screened in, and Bacot absorbed the contact.
Griffin short. Love the rebound. 3-on-2 Carolina if they hurry. Love no. Manic, and that should be goaltending, and it is. Carolina by 4.
Boy, Duke took a questionable shot on the other end. And it seems like anytime you take a bad shot, you're just starting your opponent's fast break. It's the first pass in your opponent's fast break.
Everybody to their feet now here with Cameron trying to help out the Blue Devils. And again, how badly do the Carolina players want to play spoiler here on Coach K's final night coaching at Cameron? Boy, good ball pressure, but too much in the eyes of one of the officials, and that's a foul on Love.
Just got Love with a reach-in. Went in with one hand. Had he gone with both hands, but Hubert Davis really likes the aggressiveness they're showing. That could have been an N1, yet arms all over the ball handler, but he was able to do a good job to go into that contact.
9-0 run heels right now.
Manic did a nice job hedging and still recovering with arm out to discourage that pass.
He's been dealing with Banchero the whole second half. Made him work. Williams couldn't finish it. And out of bounds to Duke.
Both Griffin and Bacot fighting for that rebound. Bacot went after it with both hands. Looked like he might get it. But Griffin went after it just as hard. And that's what it's going to come down to in this game. I mean, Carolina's rebounded with Duke. They did not do that in the first game. Out rebounded by 16. They got a foul on Leaky Black. And he does not care for it.
Number 3 on Black. Neither team in the bonus yet. 8:17 to go in the 8:15 to go in the second half. A 4-point lead for Hubert Davis's North Carolina Tar Heels, trying to avenge a 20-point defeat on their home court a month ago. Nice feed from Keels into Banchero, and it's Duke ball.
Give credit to Bacot there. He came over from the weak side and with that left hand almost blocked the shot, but most certainly changed it because Banchero had an angle on that roll.
Jay, I don't believe Hubert Davis has made a substitution in the second half.
Would you if you were him?
No, I don't think anybody's come in. Puff Johnson hasn't played. Styles. It's been the same 5 for 12 minutes here in the second half.
Got a replay looking at the clock, apparently.
They're checking to see if the ball hit the rim. Mike Krzyzewski has won 88% of his games over the years here with Cameron. 572 wins, 75 losses. And we'll hear after the game when he speaks as part of the post-game ceremony what his emotions were like tonight. But he's obviously locked in on the task at hand right now. And did it? No, I don't think it did.
If it did, it just barely grazed it. So 12 seconds on the shot clock.
Moore to inbound.
Carolina doing a nice job switching those screens. Oftentimes you can give up an easy one when you don't switch properly.
Peels up top to Williams for the finish.
Williams so hard to deal with. They can just throw it up over the top, and Bacot still a little bit concerned about picking up a cheap one as we go down the stretch.
Manic with a great look. Nice play by Caleb Love. Carolina leads by 5.
That was a ball screen by Bacot, and then Manic set a back screen against Bacot's the roll defender, and then popped out for the 3. Great execution in the middle of the floor. What a pass.
Banchero to Williams.
Well, you come over to double, and Banchero can pass out of it. Well, he is a really smart passer.
His 4th assist of the night, Joe.
You have to think Carolina's going to try to run another ball screen out of the middle of the floor.
Love goes the other way, kicks it to a wide open Manick again. Down to Duke.
Not going to get a more wide open shot.
Manick's already got 4 threes tonight. Moore the miss. Davis the rebound. Less than 7 to go. Carolina in the lead. Again the ball screen. Davis with a floater, and he's got 16. The lead back to 5.
How about the poise of R.J. Davis to pull up there without blasting off that ball screen? He's so quick, and he can really drive it. He has pull-up ability, but that was great poise to read that and not overdo it.
Banchero up to 21.
So we're seeing some high-level offensive plays and high-level reads. Just exploiting matchups on both ends of the floor.
Davis driving. Too strong. Williams ahead to Keels. A block is called on Brady Manick.
Yeah, Manick just a little bit late in getting there, but has the guts to try to take it. Trevor Keels got that quick outlet. Manick couldn't get established before the contact. And then the back screen on the roll man and a wide open 3 for Brady Manick. But who's been better for North Carolina than R.J. Davis? Had the roll man, but instead the little floater.
Concerned, Mickey Krzyzewski, Duke trailing here tonight. Students camping out since January. People paying thousands and thousands of dollars on the secondary market to see Mike Krzyzewski's final home game here at Cameron Indoor Stadium. Kept the emotion in before the game, not during the game though. That emotion has come pouring out. He's telling his players, calm down. They're getting all they can handle and then some right now from the North Carolina Tar Heels, who have a 3-point lead with 6:04 to go.
North Carolina's taken good care of the ball in this second half. You can see all of Duke's former players in attendance. Christian Laettner, Elton Brand, Kyle Singler up against the railing up top. But Duke has not been forcing many turnovers in this second half. And Carolina, Leaky Black's got 3 fouls, but other than that, it's just a question of how much gas in the tank the Tar Heels have down the stretch. They've all played a lot of minutes.
R.J. Davis, Brady Manick have not come out of the game. Caleb Love and Leaky Black have each sat for just 2 minutes. Davis, boy, they leave him wide open, and he makes them pay.
Well, they were worried about that ball screen, back screen action with the pop. You got high-low with Baycott, and all of a sudden the ball handler's wide open. Carolina's been so good with R.J. Davis doing the primary ball handling duties.
He's got 19. Roach for Duke, and it rattles in.
Jeremy Roach has made such great decisions this season, especially as compared to last season. That ball game he had against Virginia with those 15 points, that was a big-time performance.
Leaky Black baseline, scoops it up and in.
Well, Black just got the baseline side. Looked like a help defender was going to get to him.
How about that for Black's first points of the night? Carolina by 4, 5 minutes to go.
Well, Leaky Black was so good against Syracuse at 8 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. Now 1-on-1 in the post for Banchero.
Banging with Manick. Banchero slips and travels.
Yeah, they either had to call a foul or travel. I mean, there was a lot of bumping in there, but the officials letting the players go at it. But once he goes down, there's no choice. It's either going to be foul, or it's going to be a walk. So Leaky Black goes right past Paolo Banchero, who went straight up. And that's just a terrific finish. Now, Leaky Black has been so mature this year. Leads the Carolina team in plus-minus, and one of the best defenders in the country. We got a matchup here with Jeremy Roach on Baycott.
They can't get it to him. Now Davis driving on Banchero. 2 more for R.J. Davis.
What a great drive around Banchero. That was big time. Didn't even bring his left hand to the ball so he could get it off the glass quickly so it couldn't be blocked.
Again, the same five who played every minute here, every second of the second half for the Tar Heels. Hubert Davis sticking with them, and it's paying off. Banchero, no. Rebound, Bacot.
But Banchero went right into Manick and froze him. But still, it wasn't an easy little shot in the lane. Boy, big possession here for North Carolina.
Love to Manick for two.
Little Euro step past the defender and a drop off. Manick is a good cutter out of that corner.
Largest lead of the night for North Carolina. Trevor Keels. Rebound, Bacot again.
Well, give credit to Leaky Black. He put late pressure on that shot by Trevor Keels. And now North Carolina can stretch this out to 10 or more with a score here.
Love. And it's down to Moore. 3:20 to go. Duke beat Carolina by 20 a month ago in Chapel Hill. Carolina trying to flip the script here tonight.
He's going to look to drive this.
Bacot stays down. The kick to Moore for three.
Well, you try to help, and you come too far off a shooter in the corner. Leaky Black, as great a defender as he is, could not make up that distance. Paolo Banchero drawing help and passing out of it. Going against the matchup where he's got Bacot, three defenders trying to stop him. That's overhelp, and R.J. Davis, just a magnificent kiss off the glass with the right hand over the bigger Paolo Banchero. What a game we've got, Dan Shulman.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by H&R Block. Get the expert tax help you need. Get Carolina trying to play spoiler tonight here at Cameron and leading by 5 with 2:58 to go. What's at stake for the Tar Heels? Well, right now, Joe Lunardi's got them as a 10 with the last 4 buys. I think most people think they're safe. Clearly a win tonight, and they would definitely be safe. They're the 3 seed in Brooklyn next week. If they win tonight, they're the 4 if they lose. So if they were to be the 3, they would be on the other side of the bracket from Duke. Wouldn't see them until the final if both teams were to get that far. But right now, nobody's thinking about that. Carolina is thinking about spoiling the party, avenging a defeat from a month ago. And Jay, all this fight that Hubert Davis asked for and has gotten tonight, thinking about it paying off.
Oh, he's gotten it big time. There's that middle ball screen, now a switch. Davis taking on Banchero.
Manick gets it off and hits it.
And that's why you run it in the middle of the floor. You got to switch. You have to help out Trevor Keels on Bacot, and that opens up Brady Manick for a wide open 3. Carolina's done a great job with those middle ball screens. Middle third of the floor, helps, eliminates help, and then that's just a great pass to Brady Manick. I mean, he's hit well over 300 threes in his career. Oklahoma for his first 4 years, and now North Carolina. And he can really stretch the floor.
He had 21, as you mentioned earlier, against Duke a month ago in Chapel Hill. He's got 20 tonight. 3 North Carolina players have reached the 20-point plateau tonight. Manick's got 20. Bacot and Davis each have 21.
And what's important for North Carolina, they've got a lead right now with 2.5 to go in regulation, is to take care of the ball. If you get fouled, this is an excellent free throw shooting team. The 1-2-2 3/4 court pressure, not necessarily to get a steal right away or a trap, but to slow the advance and not let Carolina bring it up easily.
Davis not in a rush.
There's the middle ball screen and a spread floor.
Davis gets around Banchero, throws it by Bacot. It's loose, and it belongs to the Blue Devils. Griffin blocked by Bacot.
Wow, what a block with the left hand.
Well, what a night Bacot is having despite the foul trouble in the first half. Leaky Black in some trouble and wisely uses a timeout.
Well, if he didn't, Hubert Davis was sprinting to the official. Didn't know he could move that fast anymore.
A minute 47 to go. Carolina leading by 6. Armando Bacot has been a force at both ends of the floor tonight. Picking up the block on that play. He's got 21.6 rebounds as well. Carolina still in the lead. And we're back here at Cameron Indoor Stadium. North Carolina 82, Duke 76 after the timeout taken by the Tar Heels. What a performance by Carolina. They were down, and Bacot was on the bench with fouls, and with 3, 4, 5 minutes left in the first half, it looked precarious for the Tar Heels. What a second half they have had here tonight.
They've taken care of the ball. Duke's had a hard time staying in front of the ball, especially with Carolina's middle ball screen action in the middle third of the floor.
Carolina's only turned it over once in the second half and 5 times on the night.
They didn't turn it over all that much in Chapel Hill.
Davis, who, as you said, has had a magnificent night. Love with a deep 3. Tipped by Bacot, followed by Black.
Yeah, Carolina, always known for their offensive rebounding. Bacot kept it alive so that Leaky Black could go up unencumbered and had 2 chances at it.
Banchero, no, Bacot the rebound, and Carolina's got the ball and an 8-point lead with just over a minute to go, and Duke's got to start fouling.
Boy, and give Bacot credit because he kept his body in front of Paolo Banchero and made it tough for Banchero to shoot over him. You know, that was a matchup that gave Bacot fits in Chapel Hill. Picked up his 2nd foul early. Just that little juke move. I think Duke is going to say, hey, he had his hands on him when he was shooting, but didn't get the call.
Next foul puts Carolina on the line.
And remember, this is an excellent free throw shooting team.
Wow, Love with a beautiful find to Bacot, and it's a double-digit lead here at Cameron.
Duke just has not been able to guard the ball in the second half.
Manic the rebound. Now the foul to send Love to the line, and look at the celebration on the Carolina bench.
Boy, in North Carolina, the Tar Heels' grit earlier in the season was questioned. Their toughness was questioned. How hard will they play was questioned. All those questions have been answered. Carolina's won 10 out of their last 12. They've had a couple performances. You say their game against Pittsburgh, you know, wasn't what they expected. But to come into this building and perform at this level, North Carolina has to feel very good heading into the ACC tournament.
Which they will do as the 3 seed with a win here tonight. And again, so many former players and fans of Duke basketball have come here tonight for Coach K's final home game. But barring a miracle right now, it is going to end in a loss for the home side.
Well, in an intensely emotional day as Mike Krzyzewski coaches his last game as head coach in Cameron Indoor Stadium. Well, North Carolina brought some emotion of their own.
Yes.
And the question's going to be asked, did the emotion of the day detract from what Duke was trying to do? But I think at this point, that's a rationalization. North Carolina took this game, and Armando Bacot had a foul issue early. Now this is one of the first play of the game, the first bucket, coming right down the middle. Offensive rebound bucket with the left hand, little spin move. Not the most balletic, but this is where he was fantastic, was in that middle pick and roll. He dragged the defense, and then the exclamation point. Armando Bacot has had a magnificent year. And with my vote, you're looking right there, Armando Bacot, the ACC Player of the Year. Who's been better?
Huge night for him tonight. Carolina so much better when he's been in the game. Banchero, no. And again, all 5 starters for the Tar Heels have played every single second of the second half.
They took care of the ball. They put Duke in situations in those middle ball screens where they couldn't really help because the floor was spread. They got to pick up Bacot, the roll guy. They got to hang with Brady Manick, who's popping out. And R.J. Davis, I thought R.J. Davis was the key to the game.
Yeah.
Because when he took over as the primary handler, that's when North Carolina's offense got better.
Love with his 19th point. He makes this free throw. It'll be 4 Tar Heels with 20 or more. What a moment, too, for Hubert Davis in his first year as head coach of the program, after experiencing so many of these games as a player and an assistant coach.
Well, it's certainly validation for the work that he's been doing with this team, and validation for his players and how they've improved throughout the course of the season. And before the game, he said, we need to show fight. And North Carolina brought the fight here in Cameron Indoor Stadium from the opening tap and hung in there when things got tough. I still think that the biggest key to the game, or key period, was the last 3 minutes of the first half. Yeah. This could have gotten away from Carolina. It didn't. And they fought back to make it a 2-point game. I think it was 41-39 at halftime. And that was a major key stretch in this game for the Tar Heels to be able to win it.
Yeah, Duke had a 9-point lead, and Baycott was on the bench, and then Carolina made it close at the half. Roach a 3. Still Carolina ball, just 16 seconds to go. There is a post-game ceremony coming. Mike Krzyzewski is going to speak, but he was hoping, no doubt, to address the crowd and all of his former players after a win, and it's not going to turn out that way for Duke. They might meet again, of course. Could be in Brooklyn, could be in the NCAA tournament. With a loss here tonight, Coach K, 50-47 all time in his career against North Carolina.
Well, and you don't need to say any more than Duke Carolina for what's at stake. But in addition to a win in this great rivalry for North Carolina, can that end the discussion about them being an NCAA tournament team? They were one before this. But the discussion's over. It's just where they're going to be seated. This has been a tournament team for quite some time now, and that discussion is over.
Carolina with 94 points, 55 of them in the second half. This is the most points scored against Duke this season, and that's going to do it. The final seconds will tick away, and the North Carolina Tar Heels come into Cameron Indoor Stadium on Mike Krzyzewski's final night coaching in this arena, and they hand the Blue Devils a loss. And boy, is Hubert Davis got to be beaming on the inside about the effort given by his players tonight.
North Carolina had a great performance in this ball game, and give credit to R.J. Davis, Armando Baycott, Brady Manick, Caleb Love. They all played important roles in Carolina being able to win this game, especially with this kind of atmosphere.
Mike Krzyzewski congratulating the Tar Heels for their performance tonight. What a win, though, it is for North Carolina here at Cameron, 94-81. As so many different players played so hard and so well. Mike Krzyzewski heading to the locker room to talk to his players again. He will come out. There will be a post-game ceremony, and he will be addressing the crowd here tonight after a few minutes with his players. Not the way the Crazies thought this one would go, that's for sure. The celebration is on in the visiting locker room now for the guys from Chapel Hill, avenging a defeat from earlier tonight. Holly Rowe is with a couple of Carolina stars of the night.
I did request to speak with Hubert Davis, but he wants me to talk to his players because they have earned this win. The attention was on everyone except for North Carolina. How did you change the narrative tonight?
Well, I mean, we knew coming into the game it would be a lot of noise, a lot of people coming in, but this is Carolina basketball. We knew coming in we was either going to win the fight or win the game, and it didn't have to come to a fight, so we won the game, and I'm proud of the guys. Coach Davis, he coached a great game, and I'm so happy for him. And I just want to give my respects to Coach K, too, for a great career. And I mean, it was just great to win this game on their floor. This is a signature win, and I'm just so happy.
You had to stay on the floor. Foul trouble was a problem the last game. How did you play through it and keep your presence where it was needed?
Yeah, I mean, I know we kind of short on bigs on this team, and in order for this to work, we knew I had to be on the floor, and I just had to play smart, even if I had to give up a few layups. But I mean, I'm just so glad we won. I'm off the words.
All right, this young man was so instrumental. You guys played every single second of the second half. Where did you find the strength for all 5 of the starters to keep going?
The team. We knew coming into it was going to be a dogfight, and that's what we wanted. All 40 minutes for both ends, on both ends of the court. I'm proud of this team. The way we fought and executed the plays down the stretch was awesome.
Time and time again, you took it right straight down the teeth of their defense. How did you challenge them so much?
I mean, it's all about heart. I mean, that's what I am. I live for these moments. I live for the big moments. I was able to get by my defender and finish at the rim, and that's just something I've been always do. I've been always a scorer and always been a tough kid.
What does it mean for your fans, for your team, for your program to walk off this court tonight beating Duke?
It means a lot. You know, it's the biggest basketball rivalry in sports. And I can't even I'm speechless right now. The way we fought and, you know, battled. You know, Duke is a great team, but I'm just proud of this team because everyone just bought in and was ready to compete.
Thank you, RJ. We'll see you in Brooklyn.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I think it's going to be a fun bus ride, the 8 miles back to Chapel Hill. For the guys in light blue, Carolina with just a tremendous performance tonight. Their 5 starters shouldering almost the entire load. And you talked about it time and time again, Jay, how they use that middle of the court, middle of the floor ball screen from Armando Bacot to set up so much of their offense tonight.
Yeah, that set up their offense, and it also, with them able to score, with North Carolina able to score, it slowed down Duke's transition. You know, they didn't turn the ball over. The Tar Heels took very good care of the ball, and they took nothing, for the most part, nothing but good shots in the second half. And it was just a fantastic performance on both ends of the floor in the second half. You know, North Carolina shot 59% in that second half to shoot just under 50 for the game, and they limited Duke to 42% and really limited Paolo Banchero down the stretch. Banchero wound up with 23, but he was 11. He took 26 shots. And Leaky Black did a good job on him. Brady Manick at times when Armando Bacot, especially late, was on him. They all held their own, held their ground. And that was a great win for North Carolina under difficult circumstances.
Bacot went 10 for 11 in this game. 23 points, added 7 rebounds. As you said in your judgment, he's the ACC Player of the Year. He's had huge numbers this year, and boy, these fans are not going to leave the building with the same kind of emotion as they came into the building with. It was supposed to be a party, right? It was Coach K's last game here at Cameron.